very dark. Very, very dark. Now, this is Michael Jackson's, one of his last phone calls, or if not the last phone call of Michael Jackson. Listen to what Michael Jackson says, and I'll tell you a little bit more about Michael. He is in the Epstein files. There's reasons I'm playing this video, and I'm going to explain why I'm playing the video. And then we'll go from there.
I don't know if I should tell you this, but I don't know who may be listening. There may be a group of people that want to get rid of me. They don't want me here anymore.
I don't understand. What do you mean? Talk to me.
I can't talk about it. I don't know what's going to happen, but I just feel...
Hey, who just said that MJ the Pred? Jay, stick around, mate. Listen to what I'm going to say to you. I'm going to shock you. I'm going to shock you now, Jay. So stick around. You've just called him a Pred. I'll explain something to you. All right? Let me explain something to you.
In my soul, only God knows. They could shoot me. They could stab me. They could frame me and say I overdosed you with drugs. They can do a lot of things.
Who could do this?
It's not the government. It's more than the government. But I don't know how to do it. I don't care. They can take me. I don't even care my life anymore. I just want my children to be okay. My angels. I want them to be safe.
Michael.
I gotta go.
Now, let me explain something to you guys. Please listen to me what I'm about to tell you, right? Michael Jackson was literally a very close friend of Diana, as they call her Dirty Diana. Now, I believe that Diana was a predator too. I think she preyed on Michael. God knows what else she did. Diana Ross I'm talking about. Now, Michael Jackson is seen in the Epstein files. He's in the pictures. He's met Jeffrey Epstein, right? And in the pictures themselves, he looks very uncomfortable. Now, at the time, the actor Macaulay Culkin was a child. He was really, really big on the stage. You know what I mean? He was great. Now, in the Epstein files, they tried to get him to go to this island. They tried to get him to meet up with Epstein. This is a true story. You can read it yourself. And Michael Jackson must have knew what was going on. He built Neverland because he loved children. It had nothing to do with any kind of sexual nature. Every kid said he was amazing. There was only one family who turned around and said Michael Jackson was a wrong un. Now, the man in his question phoned up Michael and asked Michael to get involved in a venture with him. Michael said no. From then, he said to Michael, I'm going to ruin your life. And basically, he turned around and said exactly was a pred. And what Michael did was settle out of court to the man and his son. And the reason he did that, because he's got his lawyer said if you settle out of court, because it's going to be a lot more expensive in court, and he just wants to clear his name. But on the advice that he just did that, but he literally built that Neverland Ranch to protect the kids. He knew what was going on. He knew they were being unalived. He even turns around and says in one of his calls that they're going to unalive him. Whether it's, he said, if everyone says I've died of a drug overdose, he says this, right, and the recording's out there. He says, please believe me that I didn't do it, and I didn't do it to myself. They've killed me. So he knew what was going on in Hollywood. He knew what was going on in the music industry. He knew what was going on in Epstein Island. He knew what the politicians were doing, because he even turned around and said that these people are more powerful than the politicians. He was never a bad man. He was literally, he never really had a childhood. Do you know what I mean? He was always brought up in the music industry. That's why he felt more connected with kids than he did adults, because he wanted to be that kid that he never ever felt. And he loved children in the right way. He just loved kids. He wasn't a bad man. Not people said he was a wrong un. He was murdered. I'm telling you now, he was, because of what he knew and he was that powerful, Michael, because he had billions. He had over 1 billion followers who loved him, worshipped him. You know what I mean? He could literally make shit happen. If he opened his mouth and spoke, people would listen, but he was too scared, because what they said is, we'll get rid of you, we'll get rid of your family, etc., etc., etc. You know what I mean? And that's what they did to Michael. Michael was murdered for what he knew. He was never a bad man. He really, really wasn't. He was set up. He was definitely protecting children. It's a shame for him, man. And like, if you read some of the stuff, if you listen to what Macaulay Culkin said and some of the other lads, they said he was lovely. He never touched me. He didn't do any of that. He was amazing to us. He treated us like, like a big brother. And that's what they said about him. He was lovely to the kids. He tries to protect them exactly. Because of, number one, it was a lot more cheaper for him to do that, just toxic. And also, his life was being threatened already because of what he knew. All right, you know what I mean? He was paranoid. He was scared. He was a very timid man. He was lots of money, but he was literally, he was being threatened, man. Do you know what I mean? These are the kind of things that we can do to you. So, you know what I mean? If he got rid of one situation, he'd have to go to another situation. And that's what this is what these people can do to you. They can destroy you. They can literally destroy you. Yeah, it was Yui mess. It's so sad what happened to him, but he was definitely unalived, 100%. And if you read what all the kids said about him, they had nothing but loveliness to say about him. Do you know what I mean? Toxic. If you could pay to get out of a situation, right? If somebody said to you this, right? Listen, if you don't do as you're told, I am going to end you, your kids, and your husband, and on top of that, I'll do your mum and dad as well. We're going to do them all. So you're going to take whatever shit we throw at you. Because of what he knew and he was coming out about talking about it, you know, he was going to do a documentary. They literally threw him through the courts, okay? He paid off just so it went away. It was cheaper for him to settle out of court, but he had so much going on. They say, we're going to bring the next kid out, then we'll bring the next kid out, then we'll do it again. Do you know what I mean? So he just wanted it gone. Would you pay money to get rid of a situation if you had to? Because I guarantee you would. I guarantee you would. He was bullied. He was bullied. Because the reason he paid is because he was over that old, see you later. Like I said, he got murdered in the end anyway. He was killed. You know what I mean? If you could make a situation go away, if you looked at going to prison for the rest of your life for being a predator and you're not, and then you knew that you're not going to get anywhere in court because the government owns the judge and the authorities, but you've got a chance to just pay someone up to make that shit go away, you would 100% pay. It may make you look bad. It may look, and you know what I mean? And like I said, he didn't want to do it. He had no fucking choice but to pay it off. He had no choice. Because the government own the law. They own the system. And when you've got presidents involved, guys, you're fucked. You're done. Exactly. Macaulay Culkin said nothing happened indecent with Michael Jackson. Exactly. Yeah, 100%, Roxy. So I'm just reading some of these comments, guys. Yeah, Bashir definitely set him up north. He made him look really bad. He was a right bastard, he was. He was a scapegoat. He did. He kept away from it. That's what I'm saying, guys. If he was a bad man, he kept away from Epstein Island. He didn't want to go there. He didn't want to know. He never went to the island. And if he was a predator, he would have went there, believe me, like most of them. Exactly, up north. He's an easy target, wasn't he? Yeah, Conrad Money did overdose him, that's correct. And that was done deliberately. He was definitely innocent. Lots of people, it's the kids you listen to, just toxic. And if you listen to the background, he was an innocent man. He loved kids, man. I swear to God, he loved them. He really did. He had a heart of gold, do you know what I mean? A heart of gold. He was a lovely person. He was a timid man. He would not hurt a fly. He couldn't hurt a fly. He was too timid. He just generally loved kids.
Robert Maxwell, Delaine's father, his family died in Auschwitz, and he actually escaped the Holocaust. Years later, his daughter Delaine ends up working with Epstein after.
Guys, can we get some more populars, please? I swear to God, I've got the tightest. I know you probably spent it on everybody else all day, but their shows are shite. I do the best, and I've stayed up for yous. Do you know what I mean? I can earn £2. If all of you send me some populars, guys, that'd be great. Please. Thank you, Sally. Big up, Shez. I do appreciate it. I really do. Thank you, Janie.
He passes away. Also, at his funeral, there were 6 Israeli intelligence.
Listen up north. If you don't drop me an army, you'll get blocked. How about that? You're not watching my show for free. You know what I mean? You pay at least an army. Stop being tight. All right? Your hand in your pocket, tight ass. Get on your PayPal, it costs you 2 pence.
Agents. So this is the dark
Not your PayPal, your Apple Pay.
origin of Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein. So Robert Maxwell was
You know what I'm saying, Marco? Guys, it's reset now as well, Artme's going to get all your Artme's in, please, and Populars. I'm 97 in the Populars. If you all look, send me Populars now and keep tapping all some of the popular gifts and do your targets, you might be able to push me up. Do you know what I mean? It's worth staying up then, do you know what I mean? I'm like, oh, I did a great show. They all loved it. They helped to push me up the Populars.
born in
Thank you, Gary.
1923 in a Jewish village in what is present-day Ukraine. When the Nazis invaded, he fled. So he made it to France, he joined the British Army, and he fought in World War II. And then he completely reinvented himself. He became Robert Maxwell, British MP, a billionaire, a media mogul. Like, he made an empire. Behind the scenes, sources say that he worked with Mossad, allegedly laundering money, passing intel, and using his publishing empire, because he worked in media, for influence operations. In November of 1991, Maxwell vanished off of his yacht. His yacht was named the Lady Ghislaine after his daughter. His body was found in the Atlantic, and then his cause of death was ruled as an accidental drowning, but nobody believed that. He was then buried in Jerusalem with full Israeli state honors, and in attendance were 6 former and active Mossad agents. Why would Israeli spies honor a media mogul? And just months after her father's mysterious death, Ghislaine Maxwell appears in New York on the arm of Jeffrey Epstein, and the storyline is so close that it's possible that she knew Jeffrey as her father was dying, or right around that time period. That's exactly when her and Jeffrey met and became buddy-buddy. Was that a coincidence? I don't know. Was she handed to Epstein like an asset? I also don't know. What we do know is what ensued is that Ghislaine and Epstein built a trafficking and blackmail empire tied to global elites. And this is not a national issue. This is a...
So this is all to do with politics as well, do you know what I mean? It goes deeper than just paedophilia. It's literally, you know what I mean? This is political. This is about ruling nations and getting people to do as you're told and jump when they tell you to jump. And I'm sorry to say, this little small country, big up Debbie, thank you so much, this big little country called Israel, when they say fucking jump, yeah, I'm sorry to say, they jump. Because they've got, you know what I mean, they've got compromise videos and everything else. I will do, Pink Lady.
Global issue. So did her father's death clear the path? Was Epstein her lover, or maybe her Israeli intelligence handler? And the number one thing that always comes to my mind about the Jeffrey Epstein case is how could one man, if you don't know much about Jeffrey Epstein, go look into his history, look at his education, look at where he's from. How could this one man with little to no...
You know, I've talked about...
This is what I'm saying. Like, this all adds up. Do you know what I mean? It all fits together like a jigsaw. You've just got to research it and understand it. Do you know what I mean? And that's what I've taken my time on doing for a lot. This is why I know so much about this.
It before, but I want to talk about it again because I think these connections truly are...
And I've only picked out videos that I know about, that I can, you know what I mean, like relay my information that I know to you guys.
So crazy. The last known person to speak with Robert Maxwell before he was found mysteriously passed away in the ocean was his close friend and attorney, Samuel Pizarro, who is the stepfather of former Secretary of State Anthony Blinken. And like, this lore goes so deep. Like, let me just give you a little taste of it. So Samuel Pizarro was born in Poland in 1929. Samuel survived the reign of the Mustache Man as he escaped to a forest whenever himself and other detainees were actively being walked to a chamber. He was like one of the only children in either his grade or his school to survive this reign of the Mustache Man. Very, very long story short, Samuel would ultimately be rescued by an aunt who lived in Paris, and after getting Samuel to safety, they shipped him off to Australia with, I think, other family members where he could get an education. He would graduate with a law degree in 1953, and he would go on to receive higher education at Harvard University and the University of Paris. So he had a lot of education and life experience within the first like 20 to 30 years of his life. And that experience would help him land a job working for the United Nations. Was based task force. And at this time, Samuel would go on to work as an advisor to the Senate, the House, and the State Department. Throughout his career, Samuel Pizarro was also an attorney to multiple different CEOs of different Fortune 500 companies. One of his longest standing clients was Robert Maxwell and his media empire. And that business partnership led to a very close friendship between the two of those men. So Samuel Pizarro.
So thank you. So what I'm saying is Robert Maxwell was that tied to the to Mossad and to the Jewish government, being a Jewish man himself, his parents being Jewish, do you know what I mean? And to be buried in Israel and to literally be praised by Mossad, do you know what I mean? And some of the generals of the time proves that literally he knew an awful lot. He was involved in a lot, and he was involved in political blackmail. And what I think it was coming to the end of his time, Robert Maxwell. They had to fake a death, said he died. He didn't. He obviously went to Israel. And Ghislaine, you know what I mean? Because she knew a lot, and her dad was very close to him. He even named his yacht after her, you know what I mean? She was, you know what I mean? I believe that she was also involved in the Israeli government and Mossad, and I believe she carried on as a spy into the political world, being of English descent as well, and knowing the royal family, having that connection. Do you know what I mean, to royals? So what better way of getting the likes of Epstein to continue what Robert Maxwell was doing, the blackmail and other stuff, and then using Ghislaine, who the royal family trusted and everyone else trusted, to get literally dirt on them? Because if you control the royals and you can control the British government and you can control the American government, being such a small nation, then you control the world. Who controls the world? I'm sorry to say. Israel. It's a lot more deeper than the Epstein files. This is about blackmail and corruption. This is about an elite country trying to getting other countries to do what they say. This is why the likes of Iran and that's being bombed and thinking, because I'm sorry to say, you can like call me whatever you want, anti-Semitic, whatever. I'm telling you now that Israel control America. They've got their hands in the pies, the UK. There's so much more to this. And if I don't wake up tomorrow, guys, it wasn't me. I didn't unalive myself. It wasn't me. So please, can you get your gifts in now, please, just in case I have to disappear somewhere and go. I'm going to need more than a $5, guys, just to let you know. So a few of the big gifts in my gift goal would be great, because I might not be here tomorrow.
Would have been fully aware that Robert Maxwell was not just a media tycoon. He likely would have been fully aware that Robert Maxwell was a triple agent. Samuel Pizarro would go on to marry a woman named Judith Blinken, who had a child from a previous marriage named Anthony Blinken. And this boy, Anthony Blinken, who Samuel Pizarro became the stepfather of at around 9 years old, would go on to become our Secretary of State. Anthony Blinken is not just our former Secretary of State under Joe Biden. He also served in the National Security Council under Bill Clinton. Anthony Blinken also has a half-sister, a daughter who Judith and Samuel had together in their marriage, named Leah, and she also served in the Clinton National Security Cabinet along with her half-brother. Under the Obama administration, Anthony Blinken served as Deputy Assistant to the President and National Security Advisor to the Vice President, Joe Biden. Anthony Blinken has been a hugely influential figure in shaping United States foreign policy, and specifically Afghanistan and Iran, which consisted of many disgusting and shameful decisions. Then, from 2013 to 2017, he continued to serve as a senior official within national security and was second in command at the U.S. State Department under Secretary of State at the time.
So they're all connected. Do you understand what I'm saying, Shed? They're all connected. You know what I mean? Samuel Pizarro was the stepfather of Anthony Blinken, who was obviously the Secretary of State, also Jewish. You know what I mean? Whose family worked under Bill Clinton and Joe Biden still of today. Do you know what I mean? Who are connected to Robert Maxwell. Robert Maxwell being Ghislaine's father and Epstein being her partner. Do you understand? The protection's massive.
Before Jeffrey Epstein, there was Robert Maxwell, a billionaire tycoon, a media king, and an alleged spy for 3 nations, Britain, Russia, and Israel. He He built an empire of newspapers, controlled public opinion, and rubbed shoulders with presidents and spies alike. But behind the headlines, Maxwell was stealing top-secret intelligence from the West and selling it to the highest bidder. In the 1980s, Maxwell allegedly helped Israel's Mossad plant backdoors into global intelligence systems through a software called Promise. It gave access to governments, banks, even nuclear programs, a digital Trojan horse decades before the word cyber warfare existed. Then one night in 1991, Maxwell fell from his yacht near the Canary Islands. His body was found floating, naked. The official cause? Accidental drowning. But billions were missing, and so were the files he carried on board. After his death, his daughter Ghislaine vanished into the arms of another powerful man, Jeffrey Epstein. 2 decades later, the same shadow network resurfaced. Different names, same operation.
I'm gonna need you guys to.
This is what I'm saying to you. Like when he's allegedly passed away and he fell overboard in the Canaries, right? Billions of dollars went missing, billions of pounds when he died. Is that coincidental? No, it's fucking not. Do you know what I mean? That money went straight over to Israel, where he went, and that's where the money went. You know what I mean? The billions disappeared. He knew exactly he was coming to retirement, so he took the cash and he ran and he blackmailed and he done whatever he did. And the way to get away, you know what I mean? And he literally got helped out exactly how Epstein did. He was never murdered. Fuck me. Fell off the boat naked, my arse. And old Mossad and everybody turn up to his fucking funeral. Come on, man. Come on. He had protection of governments. He would have never have topped himself. Never. He retired. That's what he did.
Take a deep breath and prepare for what I'm about to tell you, because this is truly one of the most horrific things that I've seen so far in the Epstein files, and viewer discretion is advised. So this file seems to be from a law firm sending this information into investigators. I believe it would be the FBI, or it says up there the U.S. Attorney's Office, in 2020 before Ghislaine Maxwell's trial in an attempt to provide evidence. And basically they said that they are representing a girl, a young Israeli girl who was trafficked to Maxwell and Epstein and was then trafficked to a number of adults through the Epstein network. You can see, just if you pause and read some of this, she was sexually abused and trafficked to people at parties at a fancy rich house in New York City. She said that the owner of this house was named Jeffrey. He had big fat eyebrows and curvy hair. Then there was a woman at the fancy rich house who seemed very important and in charge. That's probably Ghislaine. And yes, the child victim, who was only a few years old, remembers being raped by multiple men at the fancy rich guy's house. I mean, you just have to pause this and read some of this. It's really horrific. This part absolutely broke me, though. So this screenshot is attached to this document, and it is from a CSAM video. This was sent in to the authorities. And they are saying that this young girl, this victim, remembered being molested on a turquoise blue couch near a window. And they said that this CSAM video, which they've identified, it resembles this victim. It resembles this story. And I mean, it's just horrific. That is the upper torso of a man mid-rape as he rapes a child and films it. These people.
I can't listen to the rest of that. Sorry, guys. But yeah. It's just an insult of these sick fuckers. I don't know if you know this guy, you know what I mean? But listen to what this guy says. I'll tell you more about this man in a minute.
You know the difference between a divorce and a circumcision? With a divorce, you get rid of the whole schmuck. This old man went
course,
to the
this was
doctor. Doctors went.
Of course, they knew what was going on. They were part of it. Listen, these are billionaires. These are multi-millionaires, billionaires. You know what I mean? They knew exactly what was going on. Like I said, Jeffrey Epstein was the go-to man. Whatever you wanted, however sick it was, he was the place to go to. They reckon they've even got files where they were hunting people on big grounds, literally hunting human beings. You know what I mean? They reckon that some of the place. You ever seen that film Hostel? Don't know if you ever seen a film. There's a film back in early 2000 called Hostel. There's Hostel 1, 2, and 3. And basically, it's about the rich and they pay lots of money to do sadistic, horrible things to people. And by some of the people that said that, they literally, it was literally like Hostel, the Epstein Island and his ranch. They were doing. The guy literally had not only tools, he had literally dental chairs in rooms to anaesthetize people. They reckon they were young kids, children who were doing it, and adults. All right. Some of the stuff that you hear about, what I want to talk to you about, is unreal. It's crazy, but it's been spoken about for a long period of time. Even the likes of Jim Caviezel and the likes of Mel Gibson bringing this stuff out, they knew an awful lot. And what I'm going to tell you, Jim Caviezel's already spoken about it. You know what I mean? Some of you know about it already.
What's your problem? He says, Doctor, I want you to lower my sex drive. He says, at your age, it's all in your head. He says, I know, I want it lowered.
You can see the starboard propeller slipping on the keyway. It could be the shaft is shot or it could just be the key, but most likely it's done.
This is a lot of videos what are in the Epstein files. The guy at the beginning, he's involved in skincare, you know what I mean? And on many times, he's spoken an awful lot of deep, horrible stuff when it's to do with kids as well. He's even talked about eating bad stuff that I don't even really want to repeat on TikTok. But yeah, he's another guy who's searching for eternal youth. The right stuff for eternal youth, do you know what I mean? Which we'll talk about as well.
Jeffrey Epstein's youngest victim, hear me out, was still attached to the umbilical cord. Y'all are not mad enough. Life Touch Photos, who did the photos in JCPenney's and your children's photos in your school, were using your children's photos as a catalog for Epstein to go through.
Let me say that although pedophilia, which says child love.
So this is this is on the FYP. You know what I mean? This is on the FYP. It's there to be shown, and the lady that we just shown is an American lady who does an awful lot of content. You know what I mean? So I can't pick and choose what I show, and it's horrible to say that we don't want to hear it. But this is an awareness, you know what I mean, and let you know what I think a lot's what's going on. Now, this man here, which I want to talk to you about, I'm sorry, but you're going to have to listen. If you get triggered easily, then please go away. But this man here talks about adrenochrome. And does anybody know what adrenochrome is? Has anybody got a clue what adrenochrome is? If not, I'm going to have to explain what adrenochrome is. You don't know what it is. It needs to be heard. It does. Adrenochrome, right, is a chemical that is produced in your body for children, right? And basically, you've got adrenaline and you've got adrenochrome. And basically, what they say you do, and I'm sorry to say this, guys, and this is what they reckon that they were doing to make these eternal, make these people live forever and eternal. They were literally drinking adrenochrome. They were drinking it. And what that does, it makes you live longer, it helps your skin. And adrenochrome is, you put the fear of a child so scared, right, that it's petrified, and then you want to live the kid. And it produces adrenochrome in the blood. It's a natural, chemical that's produced when the child's petrified, they unalive it. And then they obviously get the blood, and that's what they've been using, you know. Well, up north, you need to leave them, mate, because I'm speaking about adrenochrome, it's there, and I'm going to give you a lot of insight into it. It's 12:30 on the night. If you don't want to be around, then please leave. Like Jim Caviezel speaks about this as well, so I'm not the only person talking about it, but I want to let people know exactly what they were doing. Okay, because if you don't know about it, how can you judge anybody if you don't know the information? You're going to go, oh, you know what I mean? Just listen to what I've got to say. If you don't want to know, then please leave. You don't have to be here.
Has nothing to do with the abuse of children. These children are not just kidnapped and in some cases bred by families as a cash crop. We have people in the United States of America that breed children in order to sell them. And when they are sold, they come without birth certificates, which means it's easier to kill them and have no one ask where they are. We're also importing children by the plane load. Again, children who have no documentation. It's not just child slavery or child sex abuse, it's also child torture. Because you have adrenalized blood. You have the whole blood drinking ceremony of the satanic world. It's also the use of children for harvesting body organs. We'll have the Falun Gong testimony tomorrow.
So what happens when I...
So this is what I'm saying to you, like, and this goes back thousands of years. You know what I mean? And you might say, look, I said this originates from the Canaanites and the Israelites. You know what I mean? Obviously, the Israelites worship Yahweh. You know what I mean, which is God and Jesus, and then you've got the other Canaanites who literally worship Baal. You know what I mean? We're also Jewish. They came from the Israelites, and they still reckon that they're here today. And the reason they are here today, and we can prove that they're here today, you know what I mean, is because they were when you see all the hand signals by all these superstars and all these movie stars and all these politicians, and they're doing that to one another, and they're doing that. And they're doing all these signs, right? It's the sign of Baal. You think it's the devil, but it's not. It's a sign of Baal. This is why they're wearing the Illuminati, you know what I mean, around the neck. And it's the sign of Baal. And they reckon that all these people getting together, dressing up, and they're having blood ceremonies, do you know what I mean, of adrenochrome, which come from children, which makes them live, they believe, live longer, and also makes them look younger, putting it on the skin. And this is when Vladimir Putin turns around and says this, the days of the vampires is over, the days of eating and getting rich is over. This is what he says. This, you can read, you go and see that. Why did he say that? Because Putin's in the know. He's got his spies. You don't think that some of them rich Russian people went to Epstein Island and seen what was going on and knew what was happening and never reported back to the KGB? Of course they did. Of course they did. This is why he knows. This is why how he knows how deep and dark it goes. This is serious shit, man.
Scare you? Adrenaline rushes through your blood. And so at that point, if I were to take blood from you at that exact moment, I would have something called what's known as adrenochrome.
Isn't that like the plot to Monsters Inc. or isn't that the plot to Monsters Inc. Isn't it?
Yes, exactly.
That's remarkable, sir.
No, it's funny. A lot. It's crazy, you know. Do you know when they turn around and say that some of this stuff's in movies and the sites, you know, the Disney films? I don't know if you ever seen Monster Incorporated, but in Monster Incorporated, which is a childhood film, they're talking about scaring kids and getting the adrenochrome. I don't know if you've seen that. Have you seen it? This is how sick and twisted these people are. Look, they've done it in a lot of films. They put it in your face. They literally rub your face in it. Do you know what I mean? No, God knows why. Because, like I said, the Jewish, I'm sorry to say, own Hollywood. It's rubbed in our faces. They show you, hello, Louise, what's going on? Right, can you help me towards my gift goal? I'm leaving. You know, I'm going to leave you in suspense with what I know.
You know, it's funny, Smithers. I tried every tincture and poultice and tonic and patent medicine there is, and all I really needed was the blood of a young boy.
Early 30, and you're a late 50.
Yeah.
But somehow you both look the same age there. I mean, you know, there's something to be said for being with a younger man.
I suck baby's blood and put it on my face.
Explain what it is.
Well, it's this way in which one forces through microneedling. It's like a little roller with these, some of you, I think many of you know it, and it pushes through the skin and ruptures the collagen and then boosts it. You look like a burn.
Exactly. I drink baby's blood and big up, Louise. Thank you so much for that. You know what I mean? Is there any chance, like, you only about 2 lucky hats tonight? I'm here still awake for you. Like, so yeah, there you go. He's on about rubbing it in his face and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Why would he say that? Why would he say that? Do you know what I mean?
Victim for a day, but then it pushes.
What are you pushing into the skin, Sandra?
Sarah?
Carrie? What are you pushing into the skin?
Well, you push in whatever the facialist would like to insert into your pores.
But what is it?
It is an extraction from a piece of.
See the way she's stuttering and not saying her words properly, and that's a sign of big up, Louise. Thank you so much for the lucky hat. It's literally a sign of lying. Big up, Louise. Thank you so much. Big yourself up. Look. Big love to you, man. Thank you, Kashmir Kate. Oh, we've achieved the hats. Thank you so much, guys. It means a lot. Thank you. Yeah, she's stuttering. She's nervous. She's tripping over her words. She's lying. She's not telling the full story. That's easy to see. Even the best of actresses trip up, you know what I mean? Because she's put on the spot and she's lying. She's not acting. You know what I mean? She's a terrible liar. She might be a great actress, but she's a terrible liar.
Skin that came from a young person far, far away, and they somehow figured out how to extract.
It's foreskin from a Korean baby.
It's the aging process.
Dr. Jesse Karmazin is talking about transfusions with the young blood from teenagers, and he says it just may turn back the hands of time. That blood is going to patients over 35 as part of a clinical trial called Ambrosia, where subjects paid $8,000 to get the rich growth factors found in the platelets in blood's plasma.
There's pretty much people from most states, people from overseas, from Europe and Australia.
There have not been any published results, but the intriguing concept still found its way into pop culture.
It's my transfusion associate.
Dr. Karmazin says patients who have had it say they feel amazing, and he has seen evidence of reversing the aging process in rats.
Their brains are younger, hearts, their hair, if it was gray, just turns dark again.
There has also been encouraging Alzheimer's research using young blood at Stanford.
We found that it was safe and feasible to administer infusions of young plasma weekly.
Dr. Sharon Shaw is a researcher who says they have seen evidence of improvement in functional ability.
It's all very exciting that there can be components in blood.
Do you understand what I'm saying to you now? So you've got, just imagine you've got a fucking whole range of elderly people, billionaires, most of them probably atheists, some of them worship bloody the devil, or you've got all this stuff, and they've literally now know that they can literally reverse the aging process, they can get healthier, but what they need for that is younger children's blood. You know what I mean? And then this obviously substance and this chemical called adrenochrome that's only produced in children being nearly petrified to death and unalived, and then using that to become more youthful. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? How sick and deep it goes. But then if you've got the politicians that are involved in all this kind of shit, the likes of Epstein, who can record everything that's going on and then replay back to governments, the reason why Putin's calling it the vampire ball and vampire blood. And then you've got the likes of bloody, what's his name, Donald Trump, going into Iran, not even asking for a peace agreement, shaking their hand, just bombing the hell out of it because Israel's told him to do. Because at the end of the day, Donald Trump's going to jump, isn't he? Same with every one of them. Do you understand how dark and deep this gets? What's the best way to literally control governments and officials is to get in the hierarchy, getting bad shit on them, putting them in compromising positions and having the evidence to show the world. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? Have you noticed now that AI has been built and people say, oh, that's an AI video, that's AI. Have you noticed that? That's not coincidental. That is not coincidental. Who owns AI?
That could be healing.
Platelet-rich plasma, or
I've seen you in bed with a child. Oh, that's an AI video. Do you understand what I'm saying to you?
PRP treatments using a patient's own blood have been in demand as trendy vampire faces.
Fucking hell, Rachel. We live in such a fucking horrible world. We really do. Get me a little cottage by the sea and just, yeah. I'll spend out my fucking last days there. I'm happy, you know what I mean?
To fight wrinkles and as joint and tissue treatments to accelerate healing.
Queensland Parliament. The state government announced the proposed...
So this runs really deep, guys. This is really deep. You understand? It's more than pedophilia. This is about controlling the fucking world. Well, they're not up north. They're really...
Are you consuming adrenochrome? Adrenochrome is a byproduct...
We're talking about adrenochrome, which is, you know what I mean, go and research it. Look, go onto YouTube and look at Jim Caviezel. He's talking about adrenochrome. Just listen to what he says. Do you know what I mean? These are multiple people talking about it. You're not talking one, two. You're talking dozens of people, even more hundreds, talking about adrenochrome, what it is, how it's produced, what it can do. Speaking about, they've already said they put it in rats, and it helped reduce the aging process in the rats. Even the hair follicles went from grey back to normal. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? And when you've got the likes of these billionaires producing that, looking of ways for eternal youth so they can live forever, this is what they're doing. This is dark, man. This is deep. This is more than spiritual. This is living forever with your unlimited amount of money, but using you and our children to keep living this long period of time. We are nothing to these people. We mean nothing. They're the elites. They're from the Jewish community, most of them. It's fucking dark, man. This has been planned for thousands of years. I told you it's from the Canaanites. Do I believe there's evil? 100% there is. Do I believe in some kind of spiritual battle? I do, yeah. Even for you people who don't believe in a God. You know what I mean? This is also spiritual. And I do believe that all these vampire ballings of research, obviously sacrificing his children to this bar. And it stems back from the Old Testament. Read it, it's in the Old Testament. Canaanites from the Israelites, Jewish people, literally sacrificing kids and drinking the blood to Baal. And people have already said about all these other politicians dressing up in outfits, blood fests, and worshipping Baal. Like I said, this is why these rich people, these movie stars, are doing all the hag signals and all that, because they're worshipping this god, i.e. the devil, whatever you want to call it, Beelzebub. They call it Baal. It's got horns. Research a picture of Baal. B-A-L. Have a look.
That's formed when adrenaline oxidizes. It's a pinkish, reddish, crystalline compound in pure form. It is an actual medical compound that you can look up. It was studied in the 20th century. Adrenaline runs through the blood when you're in a deep state of fear for your life. Whether your meat comes from a slaughterhouse or it comes from the local butcher down the street, the animal knows it's going to die. It has adrenalized blood. It goes through deep fear, fight or flight, and those animals don't fight. They're docile animals. So it's purposeful that they created this system to be these docile animals, animals that don't fight back generally. And even if they were completely unsuspecting, they feel it when their throat gets slit. And then the fear really enters them. Oh my gosh, I'm dying. All of that goes into the meat.
Thank you,
that adrenalized blood goes into the meat. So I would say that every bit of meat anybody has ever eaten is adrenochrome. Is that too freaky for you to think about? I mean, think about it. Compare what we've all heard about adrenochrome, the conspiracy theories involving very docile beings, very young beings, beings that can't fight back, won't fight back, are very scared, are going through this fear, this adrenaline, and then they're killed, and then things are done with that blood.
Yeah, they reckon people are in that, don't they, Rachel?
Would they not be similar in composition, the things that would have happened from the conspiracy theory place, and the things that...
Adrenochrome, there's not...
Now, for you guys who don't know, this is Jim Caviezel. Jim Caviezel was in The Passion of Christ. He also did the film with Mel Gibson called The Sound of Freedom, which is obviously about child trafficking and what was going on with the kids. You know what I mean? This man is a very religious man. Do you know what I mean? He's a lovely guy. He literally and he's a very intelligent man. Now, listen to what he speaks about adrenochrome here. Do you know what I mean? And he's done a few talks on this and what's going on. He was ostracised from Hollywood. He could have been top of the elite and he turned a lot down for his faith in God, just like Mel Gibson. Do you know what I mean? I take my hat off to Mel Gibson, I really do. And by the grace of God, he turned a film called The Passion of Christ that nobody wanted to support or sponsor and turned it into one of the biggest gross movies of all time. Do you know what I mean? He done really well. God bless him. And Jim Caviezel speaks about this. He absolutely loves kids. But listen to what he says about adrenochrome. You know what I mean? Like, this is serious. This is real. This is not something you can just throw under the carpet. This is what's going on. It is a great film, Money. Great.
True. It's C9H9NO3. This is a chemical compound that is absolutely, this has been around in modern science since the 1930s. You can actually, there's a synthetic form and there's a regular, natural form, which is caused by torturing little kids to get their adrenaline up, essentially, and then extracting it from them. When you sit and so I brought this up a few years ago, and all of a sudden I was attacked by every media. Look it up. It's there. They absolutely went after me. And the next day, I never heard from my agency for 14 months. My lawyers let me go. My agency never called me after that, and essentially I was done.
His private plane.
Do you understand what I'm saying to you now? So Jim Caviezel was speaking about adrenochrome and he got literally ostracised. He knew what was going on. Same with Mel Gibson, but Mel Gibson teamed up with him because don't forget, Mel Gibson was also ostracised from Hollywood. You know what I mean? He was making some of the greatest films of the 80s, do you know what I mean, and the early 90s, but eventually he knew a lot. He got invited to stuff that he didn't want, had nothing to part, and he literally fucked him off. And he had to go at it alone, but the grace of God, you know what I mean? And I do believe it's God. They ended up coming back and doing really, really well. But he was speaking about adrenochrome, Jim Caviezel. He was telling people what was going on. They were sacrificing these young children, getting them really scared, torturing them to get the blood. And this is what the elites were doing, and also while sacrificing some of these children to bowl. Do you understand how deep this goes? And in the interim, you've got Israel at the back of it, literally using all the evidence and allowing this stuff to happen so they can get, political control over these countries, getting them to do what they want. They're the puppets. This is why a lot of people don't stand up for some shit that they do. You know what I mean? Like I said, I've got nothing against Israel. I really don't. To me, it's part of the homeland of Christ and my belief. But do I believe that some of these Jewish people are evil? Yeah, I do. I still believe they've got the demon in them from the days of Christ. When Christ was murdered, he was murdered by the Jewish. They're the ones who got him unalived. They don't believe in Jesus Christ. They believe that he's boiling in a pot of feces. They just said he was some kind of prophet. They're not interested. They also believe, the Jews, that they are the chosen race. We are not the chosen race. They are. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? We are the dirt off their and I'm sorry, in their faith, regardless if you've got Jewish in your family, regardless if you've got Jewish friends or not, they believe in their faith that you are not part. If you're not born a Jew, right, then you will never, ever, ever, you know what I mean, go to heaven or be a part of that, because it's for the chosen ones, which are them. You've got to understand that, how serious and deep this goes. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? You know what I mean? So we'll fodder to these for these people, and I don't mean in any way. They don't care about the likes of us. All they care about is themselves, their Jewish people, and what they do. Do you know what I mean? They don't believe in Christianity. The biggest opposition are Islam and are Muslims. You know what I mean? We are nothing to that. You've got to understand that. They're not. I've been to Israel. I went there for 3 weeks. You know what I mean? I stand a lot. They spit at Christians. They spit at them, spit in the face. When I went there, I showed them a picture of my tattoo of Christ on my arm. Got a picture of Jesus Christ on my arm. When I showed them that, they got angry with me. They slammed my passport down on the finger to tell me to go away. Get away, go away. That's what they said to me. They were angry, you know what I mean? And Sally at the time, even though I don't talk to Sally, turned around and said, they've still got the you know what I mean, the same demon who sacrificed Christ. Do you know what I mean? And I said, whatever you're spiritual or not, this gets really dark and it gets sinister. And you can turn around, some of these billionaires, trillionaires, who you believe, oh, the God, they're right. If they're not, they're sacrificed to this one called Baal. You know what I mean? They believe in spiritual stuff. They believe in transferring consciousness. They believe in what it can produce in this blood to make you live a lot longer, to make them live longer, how they can, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? What they can do. And if that means doing the worst kind of things possible, then they're going to do it. And we're just stepping stones to them. We're nothing. We're not part of that elite club. This is what I'm saying. It's more spiritual about this. Like, I mean, some of this stuff's been wrote about, you know what I mean, for a long period of time. There's a lot more to come. You know what I mean? Will it get better? It's going to get better in the end. It will. But when? That's the only problem. You know what I mean? But look, you've got to put the jigsaws together, guys. You've got to figure it out. You know what I mean? People just want to go on. They're all peddlers. It's more than peddlers. This is controlling the world. This is about controlling the world, staying youthful, living longer, and using anything and doing anything to get that kind of stuff. And then the political stuff starts coming in, controlling the world.
Was nicknamed the Lolita Express. Lolita is a novel written by Nabokov about a guy, based on a true story actually, about a guy who takes...
What he's talking about now is Jeffrey Epstein's plane called the Lolita Express. And I don't know if you've ever seen a film called Lolita. Lolita's about a young girl. She's about 12 or 13. And a middle-aged man falls in love with this little girl. You know what I mean? It's based around a peddler, really. Nowadays, looking at it back then, you know what I mean? I don't know whether people looked at it like that. But seeing it today, where we live, our generation, it's a film based on a peddler. And the film's called Lolita. And what he did, Jeffrey Epstein was rubbing it in our face, like most of them do, and he called his plane Lolita, which is based on a peddler. Straight up facts, that is. Straight up facts. Research Lolita. Some of you want to watch the film. But it's, you know what I mean? This is what it's about.
Takes a 12-year-old girl, kidnaps her, and takes her on a kind of odyssey across the country, raping her over the course of those 2 years.
It's a novel about child molestation.
It's a novel about child molestation, and his airplane was nicknamed the Lolita Express. It was not given that nickname by him. It was given that nickname by other people. Other people knew who this guy was.
Do you understand what I'm saying? Yeah, it's really, man. Lolita Express. Lolita, they called the plane. Look, Lolita. The film's based on a peddler, and he literally called it Lolita. Mad. Rubbing it in our faces.
Jeffrey Epstein's notorious Lolita Express private jet has been rotting in a Georgia boneyard for a decade. But inside the decaying skeleton lie haunting reminders of the pedophile's depraved lifestyle, still frozen in time. Epstein once used the Boeing 727 to shuttle his young sex trafficking victims around the globe. Spine-chilling remnants include a disassembled satellite phone hidden in a nightstand beside a king-sized bed.
Yes, lady.
The bed set and padded floors were installed so Epstein and his pals could have sex mid-flight. The former financier also committed many acts of sexual abuse aboard the aircraft, according to his victims. Disturbingly, baby lotion and baby powder can be found tucked into bathroom cabinets among mouldy shaving cream cans and used toothbrushes. Dirty towels and paper napkins monogrammed with the tail number of Epstein's private plane still lie untouched. The sitting room is adorned almost entirely with lurid red crushed velvet, covering the walls, a couch and 2 armchairs. Further down the cabin, 2 plush grey half-moon couches face each other in another sinister reminder of the jet's former luxury. Just months before his arrest on federal sex crime charges and subsequent suicide, Epstein sold the aircraft in December 2018. Since then, it has just been rotting and racking up tens of thousands of dollars of storage costs.
Absolutely madness. So literally, the plane was named after a peddler. Do you know what I mean? You know what I mean? The girl in a film. So yeah, rubbed in your faces.
These people flew on a plane
called the Lolita Express. I know.
The clue's in the name,
aside
guys.
from calling the pedo jet, there really is pretty obvious what you were getting
the pedo
onto there.
rocket.
I know.
Come on. Anyway.
This is what Jeffrey Epstein's private jet looks like in
Master of the atom, scourge of the despot. Oh, tyrant, hear his mighty name, and quick, Smithers, I'm back. Oh, top of the morning to ye. Why, look who's here. It's good old you.
Hi, Mr. Burns.
Oh, hey there, Mr. Brown Shoes. How about that local sports team?
Mr. Burns, he's okay.
Jackpot! Ay, caramba! Yeah, that's game. Hasta mañana, Osvaldo. Smithers, I'm back in the pink, full of pith and vinegar.
Just remarkable, sir.
You know, it's funny, Smithers. I tried every tincture and poultice and tonic and patent medicine there is. And all I really needed was the blood of a young boy.
Jesus of Nazareth.
You see that? It's like blood of a young boy. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. Listen, guys, I'm going to play this one more video, and I'm going to talk about this video, about what I'm going to say, all right? Because this is an interesting video. It's really, really interesting, right? And then I'm going to crack on. I'm going to come back tomorrow and do this at 8:30. I wanted to get it all done tonight, but I haven't got the time because I never come on till late. So I'm going to do it, but Matt Groening is on the files, Rick. Is he? I'm going to play this, and this, like I said, this is a really interesting one, and I'm going to explain to you what this video is about.
Jesus of Nazareth was the same way, right? Never wrote anything.
I thought he was a carpenter.
He was a carpenter.
Didn't he need like a little carpenter just to, I don't get that.
But at least his written record.
Right.
One last thing. Do you think you're the devil himself?
No, but I do have a good mirror.
It's a serious question. Do you think you're the devil himself?
I don't know. Why would you say that?
Because you have all the attributes. You're incredibly smart. You remember the devil is somebody who knows the devil's brilliant. You read Milton's Paradise Lost.
No, the devil scares me.
Satan is at the number 1 or 2 archangel, and the reason he goes to hell and leads the rebellion is because he can't be the top guy. And his thing is, I'd rather reign in hell than serve in heaven.
I saw that in a movie once called American Dharma. I don't remember who said it. Okay? We have to go.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Epstein was an...
So let me explain something to you guys. For you people who are religious, for you people who aren't religious, it might not mean something to you, but you people who have got faith or spiritual, it will believe. Basically, when he turned around and said about Jesus Christ there, Jeffrey Epstein could not use the name, you know what I mean, of Jesus Christ. He couldn't say the name. He had to say the carpenter, and not the carpenter. Now, basically, you know, back in the Old Testament, even Satan himself, you know what I mean, used to call Christ the carpenter. You know, he's known to have said that. And when they turn around and mentions about him being the devil, he said, no, they said, but I have got a mirror, I look in the mirror. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? So no matter what, I do believe this is spiritual, I do believe it's demonic and evil, because, like I said, these fuckers were sacrificing young ones no matter what, you know what I mean? A lot of people have said it, right? A lot of people have said it, right? And Epstein worships Baal, and the Baal is the devil. You know what I mean? Even though it says differently, this is a god that they used to worship back in the days of the Israelites who worship Yahweh. They worship Baal, and there was, like I said, they were unaliving kids back then and sacrificing them. Do you understand what I'm saying to you, Doc? This goes back generations, and it's from the Canaanites, the Jewish race, who Epstein is a Jewish man, just like Maxwell, just like Ghislaine Maxwell, Jewish. Do you know what I mean? Most of these people come from Jewish descent. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? And the control, man, do you know what I mean? They're in control, and it's about manipulation and blackmailing governments to do your dirty work. But in the interim, let's create this chemical. Let's worship Baal. Let's, you know what I mean? Let the elite dig the holes even worse by sacrificing kids. Like, you know what I mean? This is always this. Elaine ran away to the UK and half these other fuckers, you know what I mean? Because they've all been together in the darkest of rooms doing the most disturbing stuff, knowing that Epstein's got this evidence on them all. And Israel want to push the switch. I guarantee if Israel want to push the switch, they'd bring half these fuckers down if they really wanted to. Why aren't they doing that? I don't know. Maybe maybe Mossad are going to use some of these people for the future stuff to do stuff. Maybe it's money. Who knows? Isn't it funny that the likes of Elaine, when the Epstein files come out, she fled to the UK. Now she's fleeing again. She's leaving the UK. They know that the royal family's weak at the moment, so why not bring the likes of Andrew down and, you know what I mean, make him... Will anything ever happen to Andrew? Will he ever be in prison? Never. But it's a distraction from the big guns. Fuck with us, this is what we'll do to you. And I'm sorry to say, it's Israel. Israel have got all the strings. They're the ones pulling all the strings. They're the ones who can control. But most of these fuckers are evil as fuck. Guys, I hope you've enjoyed it so far. We're going to be doing part 2 tomorrow. Well, it's going to be part 3 to be fair, but there's lots more to talk about. I'll be back tomorrow. Thank you, Louise, at 8:30 to do this. You know what I mean? I hope you've all enjoyed it. Please give me a follow if you're not following me. And like I said, it gets a lot more darker and deeper, and we'll speak about it all tomorrow. Thank you, guys. Big up, Sally. If true, I'm sorry to say, it is. The evidence is out there up north. I'm showing you evidence. That's what I'm showing you, and I'm putting the jigsaw together for you so you understand yourself. Okay, this evidence is out there for you to watch. All I'm doing is fitting in the pieces for you guys to understand what really is going on. All right. Yeah, thank you guys. I'm really, really glad that you enjoyed this. Maybe we can do a lot more of these shows in the future, you know what I mean? Especially some of the conspiracy stuff, because I do know a lot about a lot of stuff. Maybe I'll start doing these once every Sunday, do you know what I mean? we can do a nice little show, something that you all know. I'll give you like a few days' notice so you know what I'm doing. All right. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you. Big up Shezza. Thank you so much. I'm glad you enjoyed it, man. If you've enjoyed it, it makes me happy. Thank you so much, and God bless you all. Yeah. See you tomorrow at R8, guys, for part 3 of the Epstein files. All right. Part 3 of the Epstein files. Good night, guys.